Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
7 countries that are kicking out Americans, and it's getting worse in
who
2025.
you think are the seven that are kicking out Americans.
I have no idea, honestly. I don't know.
Yeah.
China?
Oh,
I don't know.
Canada.
Canada? Okay, yeah, Canada. I
Canada.
think Canada is mad at
Canada.
us.
Yeah, it's mad.
Canada.
Did you know that in 2025, a growing number of countries are quietly slamming the door on Americans? We're talking about places that once rolled out the red carpet for U.S. citizens, now making it nearly impossible to
The Netherlands.
live, work, or even visit. And trust me, some of the countries on this list will completely shock you. Whether it's political backlash, cultural tension, or just burnout from waves of digital nomads, the global shift is real, and millions of Americans are about to feel it. Stick around until number 5, because what's happening there is a warning
Until number 5, so we can be done after number 5, I guess.
sign for the future of international travel. But before we dive in, hit that like the world will always welcome Americans with a smile. Number
Ooh.
1,
Oh.
Canada. America's best
Yeah.
backup plan? Not anymore. Canada has long been the go-to escape route for Americans looking for stability, healthcare, or just a more peaceful lifestyle. But in 2025, that door is beginning to close. Here's the truth. Canada is in crisis. A massive housing shortage has turned cities like Toronto and Vancouver into rent nightmares. Wait times at emergency rooms have tripled. Public transit is overwhelmed.
That's a lot of the world big cities, though. That's like we see the same in Portugal,
Yeah.
Spain. Here in Miami, it's the same. It's everywhere. It's not just Canada.
Canadians are frustrated, and immigration has become the scapegoat. In response, the government has introduced strict caps on all types of immigration. Permanent residency processing times have ballooned. Americans applying for extended stays are now facing intense scrutiny, especially if they don't bring in a high income or specific in-demand skills. One retired American couple living in Nova Scotia was recently told their residency renewal would not be approved. They'd been there for over 12 years. They volunteered locally, paid taxes, contributed.
That's a little tough. There's one thing, not approving it for a new person, new immigrant. But when you've been living here for 12 years, like at that point, just get a citizenship already. Like 12 years is a long ass time.
To the community, but their modest pension no longer meets the updated financial threshold. They were told simply, it's time to return home. Canadians aren't angry at Americans specifically, but they're tired. And as one headline in the Toronto Star read, "We can't save the US from itself. Our cities are at breaking point." For many Americans who thought Canada would always be Plan B, 2025 is the year they realize there may not be a plan at all. Number 2, Mexico. Mexico has long been a haven
Makes
for
sense. Same
Americans,
as America.
retirees, digital
Same as
nomads,
Canada.
and anyone chasing sunshine and affordable living. But
Wow,
in
the water looks,
2025, the tone has changed.
gorgeous.
After years of lenient visa policies, Mexican officials finally cracked down. Why? Because over 1 million Americans overstayed their tourist permits last year alone. Many were working remotely, some illegally, and almost none were paying Mexican taxes. The result? A wave of strict enforcement. Immigration officers are now stationed at major travel hubs, scanning for past overstays. Fines have quadrupled. Blacklistings have spiked. Tourists caught working without proper permits are being deported, sometimes on the spot. But it's not just about policy, it's about pressure. In places like Mexico City, Tulum, and Puerto Vallarta, locals are voicing anger. Rents have soared. Traditional neighborhoods have been overtaken by short-term.
That's kind of interesting, Trump, complaining about Mexican immigrants or whatever. You see, Mexico has the same problem with Americans. That's crazy. It's just trading places,
Yeah.
For all the Mexicans that come, there's as many Americans that leave to Mexico, probably.
Rentals. The term gringofication is no longer just a joke. It's a social issue. One local shop owner in Oaxaca said in an interview, "We're losing our culture, and the foreigners don't care. They come, they earn US money, and they leave us with higher prices and no homes." If you're American and planning to stay long-term, expect to show financial statements, background checks, and proof you're contributing legally. Anything less, and you might find yourself on the next flight north. Number 3, China. China isn't just
Yeah.
pushing back, it's pushing Americans out.
I feel like this video is just showing all the countries that got the biggest tariffs by Trump at this point.
Amid escalating US-China tensions, 2025 has seen an unprecedented rise in visa denials, silent blacklists, and forced exits targeting Americans. English teachers and corporate expats, once seen as cultural bridges, are being quietly phased out. Work permits are being denied with vague terms like national security concerns. One American tech consultant in Shanghai reported being detained at immigration and questioned for 6 hours before being denied re-entry. despite holding a valid work visa. His company couldn't explain it. His embassy had no answers. He simply became one more expat caught in the crossfire.
This video was a little sensationalist, a little bit taking an example of one worker saying that like Canada, one couple in it's always been one couple. Like it's really hard. Like it's easy to sensationalize something, and because we can't fact check it. We can't like now. What would be truthful if she showed the numbers on the screen? This was in 2020, 2021, 2023, 2024, and 2025 so far, and so we can project it how the year is going to look. Then we can say, okay, for a fact, oh yeah, something is going on. Now, one person got denied, and of course it made the news because the tensions are high between the countries, so of course it made the news, and we're blaming it on that. But maybe it was always happening, we just didn't hear about it because it wasn't a big deal. It's very sensationalist.
Fire of geopolitics. Even those with clean records are reporting increased surveillance, surprise apartment inspections, and sudden non-renewal of leases. And this crackdown isn't being announced publicly, it's being executed silently. Living in China as an American in 2025 means constant anxiety. You may be left alone today, but tomorrow the rules may change. And when
but to me that was even before Trump. I would feel like living in China as an American, I don't know, the countries are not at good terms. It's like, living in Russia as a Ukrainian. I mean, obviously a little maybe more extreme, but not as a Ukrainian, like just as an American before. Like, remember the basketball player? She was in Russia.
Yeah.
She got fucked up. Of course, she broke the Russian law, but still, it's not dangerous.
Yeah, they were holding her to prove a point.
Yeah.
When they do, you'll likely find out after you've already been locked out. Number 4, the United Arab Emirates. From afar, the UAE looks like the perfect playground for Western expats. Tax-free income, luxury living, world-class infrastructure. But under the surface, Dubai and Abu Dhabi are tightening control, and Americans are finding themselves in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. The new 2025 Residency Stability Directive has introduced intensive vetting for visa renewals. Authorities are reviewing social media behavior.
The home is right next to the water.
It looks beautiful, Emirates.
Financial records, and even private WhatsApp conversations for any.
Looks like Miami. Kind of like similar style.
It looked like bigger than Miami.
It looks like upgraded Miami.
Yeah, it looked like Miami Beach extended even like to 5-10 cities.
Sign of cultural friction. Several Americans were deported this year for things they didn't even realize were offenses. Public dancing at a beach bar, criticizing traffic laws online.
I mean, whether you realize or not, it doesn't matter. If you break a law, you break a law, and you can't get deported. So that, I don't know what it has to do with anything.
Or posting memes that authorities deemed disruptive. And here's the kicker. Deportation in the UAE is final. One mistake, one misunderstood comment, and you're banned for life.
Isn't it
a freelance writer from New York?
Yeah. I mean, the same here. If you get deported, you're banned for life. As I said, sensationalist video.
Shared his story. I wasn't even warned. They just told me at the airport, your visa is canceled. You're on the next plane out. In 2025, if you're not rich, not quiet, or not constantly cautious, you don't belong in the UAE. Number 5, Hungary.
I mean, to be fair, I thought that was already obvious. If you're not rich, you don't belong there. Like, it's a rich fucking country. What you gonna do there if you're not rich?
Hungary may not scream expat hub, but for years, Americans have quietly relocated to Budapest for its charm, affordability, and easy access to Europe. That era, it's fading. Fast. Prime Minister Viktor Orban's hardline nationalist stance has morphed.
I don't think it has to do with America per se. We're seeing Hungary is having its own issues a little bit, so it's not directly directed at Americans.
Into a quiet rejection of foreign residents. And Americans, particularly liberal, English-speaking professionals, are finding themselves under scrutiny. Residency renewals are now conditional. Applicants must prove financial independence, fluency in Hungarian, and evidence of cultural integration.
Fluency of Hungarian, now that's hard. That is hard.
And yes, that's an actual checkbox now. One American photographer living in Pest for 7 years was denied renewal with a single sentence: insufficient contribution to national values. Expats are also reporting sudden banking restrictions.
It's unfortunate for people wanting to move to Hungary, but from Hungary's position, if population is not a problem, if self-sustaining, if your birth rate is good, why do you want to take someone in that doesn't contribute to society? Now, I'm not saying they're criminal to where they diminish the society. No, but they don't add to society. If they don't speak the language, well, okay, maybe they can add without speaking the language, but if they cannot prove how you make the country better,
Yeah.
how would you prove that you make the country better? Pay the taxes in the country.
Yeah.
I think that's
That could
good
change
reason.
things.
Yeah. Volunteer. I don't know, but if you don't do none of that, if you just leech off the country because the country is cheap, but you don't give nothing back to the country, I don't. You can't blame a country for not wanting that. Just because you're American, you feel entitled, you should feel like everybody wants you. That's not the case. You have to. It's a give or take, not just take.
Missing paperwork at immigration offices, and social hostility from right-wing media portraying them as cultural invaders. Hungary isn't knocking on your door and asking you to leave, but it is quietly making you feel like you should. Number 6, the Philippines. No country has historically been more welcoming to Americans than the Philippines. Shared history, shared language, deep cultural ties. But even this Pacific paradise has drawn a line. In 2025, the Philippine government rolled out sweeping reforms to its special resident retirees visa program. The minimum age was raised, financial requirements doubled, and retirees must now undergo annual compliance checks, including in-person interviews and financial audits.
That's
Why
a
the
little
change?
annoying.
Officials cited rising
That seems
concerns about
excessive.
aging
That's
dependency,
excessive. Yeah.
unpaid
Every year to go on an interview, that's a little annoying. Go on an interview once before getting it, get it. But every year, that's like a parole officer, basically a yearly parole
Yeah.
officer. Oh, nah, that's
hospital
too
bills,
much.
and foreigners gaming the visa system to live tax-free. One hospital in Davao went public this year, revealing it had written off over $800,000 in unpaid bills, the majority from elderly American patients who had overstayed their tourist visas. A 73-year-old veteran who'd called the Philippines home for 15 years was denied renewal after missing 2 interviews due to medical issues. He was given 21 days to leave. Even longtime residents now feel the ground shifting beneath them. And for new arrivals, the message is even clearer. If you want to stay here, you need to bring money, paperwork, and total respect, or you won't stay long. Number 7, Thailand. Thailand, the land of smiles, is still smiling, just not as widely if you're American in 2025. The Thai government has launched its Secure Thailand initiative, aimed at regulating long-stay foreigners. And Americans, once a sizable portion of the digital nomad wave, are getting caught up in the bureaucracy. New rules demand that all long-term visa applicants show verified monthly income of $3,000 plus, local health insurance, a clean criminal record from both home and abroad, and biometric check-ins every 90 days. Even popular schemes like the
Wow.
Elite Visa are now under
Damn, these
Every 90
check-ins.
days?
No, that's a parole officer. Why would anybody want to go through that?
audit, with nearly
What?
2,000 revocations in the past year alone. One American
Like,
YouTuber
I'm sorry that those check-ins would make me want to leave, and it's like everything else is reasonable. The income, the no criminal record, that's all it's very reasonable. Check-ins? No.
in Chiang Mai was banned from re-entry after joking about Thai politics in a vlog. He later admitted, "I thought it was harmless. Turns out, nothing is harmless anymore." Thailand isn't banning Americans outright, but it's making it so bureaucratic, stressful, and uncertain that many are choosing to leave on their own. This isn't some conspiracy theory. It's not alarmism. This is happening. Right now.
I don't know if
Can I
it's
see the
happening.
comment?
I would like to see more statistics than just taking one comment per country. Like one individual in one country got their visa revoked or whatever. That happens all the time. It's a little sensationalist. Traveled to Europe several times as an American. I found other Americans to be rude, obnoxious, and boisterous. Americans have always been considered disrespectful of other countries' customs. It was overlooked because of our wealth, but our dollar is worth less. Tariffs have put a nail in our coffin. As a native New York American, every country that I have been to, visited, or lived in, I always made a strong attempt to speak the local language, always respected local cultures as well. I do know that Americans carry a negative stereotype overseas, and I did my hardest to combine that awful negative stereotype. I was blessed in that I ended up learning how to speak fluent Chinese, and I'm making progress
Wow.
in Espanol. Good for you.
Wow.
I live in Toronto, and I recently had a friend who had to go to NYC on business. At the border, American customs agent asked her, "What are your politics?" And she replied that she would take the fifth. The customs agent replied, "Good response." What?
That's interesting.
What?
That sounds like a code.
Is what they asking at the fucking border? What's your policy? Plead the fifth. Yeah, plead the fifth. What the fuck?
Okay. Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. join the Discord, and as always, share as much kindness as possible.